What's up, guys? This is Kevin Lindsay from Opinionated Geeks. We're here today with our co-host, Tommy Holiday. Tommy, introduce yourself.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to OG.
Timothy D. Brownlee. What's up today?
Hi.
Tim, oh, there we go. What, Tim? What is that on your head, Tim?
It says hi. It says hi.
He says, all right, he says hi.
Back
I say hi.
His trusty Post-it notes. So, anyway, let's get started. Intro. We didn't get to do this much last week because we had so much content from WrestleMania. We went down the entire card. If you missed that, you want to go back and you want to see how we done on our predictions, which I think failed miserably. I think we kind of failed. Yeah, I think we kind of were bad. You can go back and you can view that.
No, you don't.
Let's introduce ourselves. No, don't do it.
No, you don't.
Do it. Just click on the video, give us the view, and leave.
Just get out. Just get the hell out.
So anyway, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Kevin Lindsay. I'm co-host of Opinionated Geeks. I am a Walking Dead fan. We're going to talk about it tonight. Yes, I'm a comic book fan. I am a complete Marvel nerd fanboy. I love everything Marvel. I try to love DC, but I just can't do it. But I love movies and everything like that. If you're watching it and you know me, then you know I do love movies. Love music, all that other stuff. Tommy, tell them a little bit about yourself.
What's going on? I'm Tommy Holiday. I'm one of the co-hosts of Opinionated Geeks, otherwise known as OG. I am an avid gamer. I have a gaming channel that I don't use anymore, but I'm going to start doing that again, named Twine Ambassador. I am a huge fan of superheroes, regardless of the brand, though I prefer Marvel, but I prefer the DC villains. I'm a huge fan of Power Rangers just because it's what I grew up with, and I'm a wrestling fan. You know, if you need to know anything about wrestling, you can come to any one of us because we all love it. But
we're all huge wrestling fans.
But that's one of the things that I love. But mostly, I'm a gamer, as you can see from my TV behind me.
Tim, you're up.
All right. Well, my name is Tim Brownlee. I am an OG of OG. What up? I love all superheroes. I'm a huge Marvel guy. Like Deadpool is my spirit animal. I love DC as well. The Flash in particular is my go-to superhero there. Although I have no problem. I'm not one of these like super, Mark guys or whatever that say Teen Titans Go is blasphemy. I have a 9-year-old daughter who adores that show, and I will admit that show has grown on me. So I'm all like the rest of these guys here. I am a huge wrestling mark. I'll watch anything, and it's not just WWE. I like ROH, ND. I like scour YouTube just for like regular, just indie matches, the next big thing or whatever. I love these guys. I'll admit I didn't know much about them before the movie came out, but now that they are, I try and get a comic or two. My wife is also a huge comic book nerd, and I siphon off her collection quite a bit, and she gets anything and everything. And so, well, from time to time, you'll probably hear me talk about the latest comics and stuff like that coming out. But for the most part, I'll get into anything if I like. But the main thing, I'm a huge sci-fi geek. I love Star Trek, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica. I'll even watch Firefly. I've only seen like maybe a few episodes here and there. I want to sit down and watch the whole season, but so you'll probably see me pew every now and then, but for the most part, that's me. That's what I'm about.
So, yeah, Tim he's not lying. He is Deadpool is his spirit animal. Tommy, who is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero is Spider-Man.
Aquaman or something?
No, it's Spider-Man.
That would be fitting because you are an absolute loser and absolute nerd. You got everything but the brain.
Yeah, and we have a group chat. We have a group chat, and Tim is Wade Wilson, and Tommy is Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
And I am
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. So yeah, and my favorite superhero was Batman, but then
Iron Man sucks.
I went to the dark side, which is now the good side, and I fell in love with Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Iron Man. He is the guy. It's like Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. I don't care what anybody says. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Just like Wade Wilson was born to play Ryan Reynolds in real life.
You mean Ryan Reynolds was born to play?
No, I meant what I said. I meant what I said. Wade Wilson was meant to be Ryan Reynolds.
You gotta think about it, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I know. I was trying to correct you, but it's what it is. All right, let's get started. Let's get started with the show. Let's shut up. Let's talk about the first thing. Let's talk WrestleMania. Let's talk the high points. I know Tommy's fixing to gloat. Oh,
God, just get ready. Get ready. Oh, God. Go take it away, Tommy.
Gloat so much. But, Tim, why don't you lead off? Tell me the high points, what you enjoyed about the show.
Actually, I enjoyed exactly what I said I was going to enjoy. It had the best start. The Cruiserweight match, even though we were absolutely wrong on who was going to win it, it was 5 stars start to finish. Aries and Neville put on a show. And the best part about this is we're going to be seeing matches like this in the future. Aries is going to be chasing Neville all the way to SummerSlam. And to be honest, this is one of those feuds I could see go on forever. After Mania, my boy Finn Balor, he came back. He's there. And if they don't put that guy in the title picture, I will be highly disappointed.
What you got, Tommy?
Well, I'd like
God.
to point out that you all called me dumb and stupid and wrong. Now, granted, I am dumb, but that's besides the point. You all said I was wrong about the Hardys coming back. You all said it wasn't going to happen, and I was living in a fantasy world. And what do you hear at WrestleMania on the way to the ladder match? Do 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 do. You hear the Hardy Boy entrance theme. I had it on mute because I was at work, but I look down and I see them running down, and I see y'all lighting up my messages. Y'all were just lighting me up. And so, speaking of the ladder match that the Hardys were in, it was amazing to see them come back as Team Extreme. I just hit my cord and my phone almost fell. It was amazing to see them come back as Team Extreme because of the whole Broken Hardy thing that's going on right now, and we'll update that later. I was talking to Tim about it earlier. But those guys, Jeff is 39 years old, and Matt's older than that. But to see him jump off a 14-foot ladder, the fact that they're still able to do that.
Dude broke a ladder in half. Half.
And also the guy who was on it.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
The tag team division on Raw, to follow up with the following Monday night, is just really grew a lot. With the return of the Hardy Boys and the call of the Revival. You got the whole Superstar shakeup coming up. New Day is leaving. I say New Day is going to be on SmackDown, and that's okay. That is perfectly fine because now you have the Revival. You have I'm drawing a blank.
Enzo and Cass.
You have Enzo and Cass, and you have Luke Anderson and Gallows, and you have Sheamus and Cesaro. I will take those 5 tag teams over anybody on SmackDown any day. The Raw Tag Team division is A1.
I would stop you right there at the very end. Dash and Dawson, I have been high on them ever since they started showing up in TNA when they went on their first tag run. I've always been high on them. They're going to be great. But keep in mind, SmackDown has this tag team called American Alpha, and I would take them over about 4 of those tag teams that you just mentioned. My personal opinion, though.
You were super high on American Alpha. Here's what I enjoyed.
Super high on them. They were I'll take you back. Whenever we had a few months back, me and us and a group of friends, we did this little mock draft of all the things. And the first tag team that I took, if you remember, was American Alpha. Reddy, Willing, and Gable. Love them. Chad Gable, Jason Jordan, fantastic in the ring. I could watch them all day.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. I just feel like the tag team division on SmackDown is kind of stale, and they're going to need the New Day, or they're going to need Cesaro and Sheamus to kind of push that along, and hopefully we get that in the Superstar shakeup. I'm not going to talk too much about the after shows. We know Finn Balor come back, Shinsuke Nakamura come out. Oh, the crowd went nuts Tuesday night, absolutely nuts. If I was to talk about any of that, it would definitely be that. But the high points of WrestleMania, I've just got to say, I know y'all kind of avoided it, but Roman Reigns pinning The Undertaker, like 9 Superman punches, felt like 5 or 6 spears.
4 spears.
4 spears. I mean, it was just absolutely brutal. And the match wasn't good. I hate to say it.
Match sucked.
I wish. The more I thought about this, the more I wish they put a better technician in. And I know we all know that they're wanting to push Rage. We all know that they're wanting to shove him down our throat. But they needed a guy like AJ Styles. They needed a guy like John Cena. They needed someone who could put on a show with The Undertaker because he's 52 years old. And because of that, if this was his last match, which apparently everybody's kind of just in unison that this is it, I hate to see The Undertaker go out on a poor match. Because if you go back and you look at the retirement matches, you see Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. That was a great match because Undertaker could still go.
Shawn Michaels.
Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels. Ric Flair, despite his age, could still go. You look at even the Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar match. As short as it was, 4 minutes, 45 seconds, we knew what it was, and that is fitting for Goldberg to go out like that. If he doesn't wrestle again, if Bill Goldberg does not wrestle again, both of them just hitting finisher after finisher and going down like a true brutal match, that was fine for me. I hated it. It hurt my heart to see Undertaker go out the way that he did. If Roman Reigns was a better performer and a better technician in the ring, I wouldn't be mentioning this. But he's not. He's limited. And if you had AJ Styles or Chris Jericho or Kevin Owens or Bray Wyatt again go up against the Undertaker, the match is better. We saw just a couple of years ago CM Punk and Undertaker, and that was a good match because CM Punk knew how to handle it. He knew how to deal with it.
I want to interject right here. I have read reports and in most of the dirt sheets that I've read up on the Taker Reigns match lead to the fact that they say that Taker handpicked Reigns for this. He wanted Reigns to retire him. Don't ask me why.
I don't get that.
I don't get it either. But if you think about it, the only thing that only reason that I would think he would want Reigns to do it is because of his family name. He knows a lot of his relatives, and he's probably known the kid growing up. I mean, he's an Anoa'i. He's part of that dynasty. He's probably grown up around the business. He's probably met Undertaker once or twice. So that probably could have been just a favor to him because whatever, you can throw whatever around that. But everything I've read and everything I've heard says that Taker handpicked Reigns to retire him.
If I could put one last thing from me in this, I'm actually pretty sure, Tim, that I hate to disagree with you, but I love to do it, that you're wrong about that. I feel like, because I did read reports, I'm pretty sure we read separate reports, that Taker wanted Cena, which would make sense because they've only fought once. They've only fought once on a pay-per-view, and that was back when Cena was a heel, and the only time he's been a heel. But the only reason he didn't get Cena is because Cena had this whole proposal thing with Nikki planned out pretty sure months in advance. And by the time Taker got around to it, Cena said, I can't. I got my hands tied. So they went with the next best thing in Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I feel like if you could have set something different up, you had AJ Styles, and AJ Styles Shane McMahon was a good match. I thought it was good. But you had AJ Styles kind of sitting there. You had him sitting there with nothing. You had your opportunity for the phenomenal one to go after the Undertaker. And I just, if he was handpicked, if Undertaker done it, fine. He went out on his terms. I feel like he has enough pull. I do agree with Tommy. I've heard several times that him and Cena were supposed to go at it. I hate to say that I would rather see Cena do it than Roman Reigns, but Cena, despite the criticism, whenever a big match is there, Cena puts on a show. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. But anyway, let's go ahead and get through with WrestleMania. I know we don't want to be a total complete wrestling page.
No.
Let's get into some nerdy stuff. And Tommy, you get to lead this one off.
Yeah, I feel like an adult now. So tonight I went to go see this movie that you guys may know called Power Rangers, that some people were very skeptical of whenever it first got announced, because it's a remake of what it's a remake of what we all grew up with. It looks a little different. The armor's different. It's more modern. You got Green Ranger right there. Way to go, Tim. It looks a little different because it's more modern. They're able to put more effects and CGI and stuff into it. So, and everyone's very skeptical, but they proved the skeptics wrong. It's a fantastic movie. It has the potential to be one of my favorite movies of the year. We still have a lot more to get through, but right now it's at number 2. Logan's number 1, and then Power Rangers. But I saw it for the second time tonight, and my favorite thing about it is all the callbacks to the original series. Because whenever you first meet, not when you first meet Alpha, but when you meet Alpha 5, and then Zach takes his Zord. By the way, side note, there will be spoilers in this to all of our viewers. It's been out in theaters long enough. We've all agreed that it's been out in theaters long enough that if you haven't seen it, this might as well be the next best thing.
Well, we'll put a spoiler alert on the vid, though.
Yeah. When you first get introduced to the Zords, Zach takes his Zord and starts going amok with it because he has no idea what he's doing, and then he bombards through the wall of the ship. And I didn't notice this until tonight, but Alpha says "ay ay ay," like he does in the original series. I was like, "ay ay ay." I also didn't know Alpha 5 is voiced by Bill Hader. I had no idea.
Did not know that.
Me neither.
But and then a friend of ours pointed out to me yesterday that the original cast, or a few members of the original cast, are in the movie as well. With in their scene when Megazord's doing the little outro.
Yes, I'll talk about that.
Yeah, and then my favorite callback was the original theme, because they finally morph and they're all flying out, and Alpha goes, "Go go Power Rangers," and you hear "Go go Power Rangers." I got chills when I first heard that, and I got chills tonight. I've seen it twice, and and both times I've seen it, and I swear up and down, the guy who plays Jason. Up and down. I've seen this twice. I'm still not convinced that's not Zac Efron. They can put whatever name they want on him. That is Zachary Efron. I don't care what you say. But that's my favorite thing. It's just all the callbacks to the original series. It was targeted towards people like us who grew up with it. It was, they cuss a bit here and there. It's not really. Part of it's to introduce, the next generation to it, like y'all's kids to Power Rangers. But it's also just to make us who grew up with it very happy. For a chance for us to relive our childhood and back to simpler times before, we've got responsibilities and stuff.
You know what I liked about it more than anything? This word.
What's that?
Right here. There was depth. There was depth to the characters, depth to the story. Like, even from the beginning, you were seeing that this was not your traditional Power Rangers thing. This isn't your super campy show that we grew up with. And don't get me wrong, I love the campy. I still watch the show from time to time. I'm introducing my daughter to the series. But this is not your traditional Rangers. All 5 of these guys, they were not close. They were hardly friends, and they were flawed. Each and every one of them had their own struggles, their own weaknesses, their own things they had to overcome. I mean, just I loved the fact that these characters got developed and were, and it showed that this didn't happen in a vacuum as what all of us would like to think happened on the show. This kind of stuff took time. There was a lot of development, a lot of infighting, and I really, really liked the concept of what it took for all of them to morph. Like they had to like literally be on each other's page. They had to be on the same page.
It took a death of the group for them to finally realize that, you know, once we lose each other, we have nothing.
It took Billy nearly dying. Well, Billy did die, to be honest, and then I loved what they did with Zordon. Zordon was not exactly this, you know, holier than thou kind of character. Like he had serious depth, and you know, Bryan Cranston voiced Zordon, and Billy's last name was Billy Cranston. They did that on purpose.
Or William Cranston, or Billy crams tons and Billy crams tons of crayons in his butt, which I don't do, but I don't know how to shove a ton of crayons in your butt. Billy to me, I think, was the best character in the whole thing, and I loved the reason behind it and why they did it. It was supposedly it was an apology to David Yost because he had a story where, of course, we all know he's gay, and he was harassed for being gay behind the set, and a lot of these crewmen, he overheard crewmen talking about that he should not be a superhero because he's gay. And despite the fact that Billy stuck around longer than a lot of these cast members, say JDF, he took that for a while. And for that being his chief reason for leaving tells me he took it better than most. So I liked the development behind it. I loved the little backstories, and I just like the fact that we see JDF and Amy Jo Johnson as civilians taking snapshots of the Megazord. Little cool story behind that. JDF, Jason David Frank, who played Tommy Oliver in the original series, was kicked out of the theater during the premiere of this movie because he took out his cell phone and tried to take a reaction shot of the audience, and theater personnel saw his phone, escorted him out, and even though he tried to explain, they didn't get it, or didn't, you know, they didn't give him any slack. So there's a little backstory to that. Another thing I noticed, since you mentioned that it was JDF and Amy Jo, the fact, because we all, you know, if you watch the original series, there's always that tension between Tommy Oliver and Kimberly. There's always that little tension there, and the fact that they were a married couple in the movie, or at least together, that really kind of warmed my heart. But,
that hit home.
Another thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think one thing that I enjoyed about the movie, because I got to watch it on premiere night. I got to watch it whenever it premiered, and I was kind of worried because the theater wasn't full. And I was like, oh no, because I'm thinking, man, this isn't good. But it did fill up later. It wasn't like packed out, but still, yeah, that's beside the point. But after I left watching it with a friend of mine, I was like, man, this was really, really, really good. One of the things I hate to do this, but it's the truth. Okay, they developed, like Tim said, with depth. They developed their characters more in one movie than what DC has been able to do in several movies.
This is true.
Like they really did. They've really done a great job developing those characters. We got to see flaws. Every character, like Tim said, had flaws. I love that about it. They weren't even the Pink Ranger, who was supposed to be the cheerleader and whatnot. You know, she has her flaws. And I really loved. I was on the fence to start with the Black Ranger, that he was trying to act all cool and cocky and whatnot, and then we see that his mother is really, really sick, and he's having to take care of her, and he's the good boy, but he's trying to put on that he's, you know, kind of the bad boy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, so I enjoyed that. Obviously, we get to call back with the Yellow Ranger, like Tim said. I believe that was a callback to the Blue Ranger, obviously, who was homosexual and who was harassed and stuff like that. So you get the whole callback, and it's kind of open ended, seeing where they're at. Where you, I think it was the Black Ranger asked her
Girlfriend problems.
Well, he asked her boyfriend problems, and then she's like, yeah, and then it's silent, and then he said girlfriend problems, and she's like, yeah, it's kind of leaves it open ended, like
yeah, I never mentioned that being the callback, but I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah, I think that's the callback. But anyway, I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was. I can't wait till we get a sequel. I hope just a quick thing. I hope that they don't make the Green Ranger a female character, not because I don't want another female cast member, but because the Green Ranger, just for the sake of it, being a guy, like I just hope that they don't do that in the second one. I would like to see another Ranger added too. Like I would like to see, if you do an Orange Ranger or a White Ranger, or, whatever color, I'd like to see that because they're talking like 6 movies, so you have room to add on to a little bit of canon there to add another Ranger in, besides and leave the Green Ranger a guy, Tommy Oliver.
What they could do is that, they could incorporate more than one series because there are multiple Power Ranger series. There's Mighty Morphin, there's Thunder Force, there's Dino Force.
Yeah.
What they could do is that they could start Tommy Oliver as a guy, Officer Green Ranger, make him into the White Ranger like in Mighty Morphin, and then incorporate one of the future series by making the Green Ranger a girl.
Yeah, or you could change it to the Black Ranger being a girl. You could change any of the Rangers. Maybe save the Red Ranger being a girl.
But anyway, I would like to keep Tommy Oliver as a guy.
Yeah, I think that's just for the original diehard fans. I think you keep the Green Ranger a guy. But anyway, yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
One last comment on Power Rangers before we segue into next. The casting for this movie was amazing. That's what I noticed because I was looking at the cast. You got Becky G as Trini. You got Ling Lee as Zach. You have Zac Efron as Jason Scott. I don't know who he is, but he looks like Zac Efron. Naomi Scott, who's been in one movie her entire life, and was a Disney Channel original with Lemonade Mouth. That it was straight to TV. She killed it as Kimberly.
Oh, I've got to say, whenever she's in the Megazord, or not the Megazord, whenever she's in her Zord and she's flying around everywhere, I was in the theater and I looked at my not a friend, I looked at the guy who was sitting next to me, and I was like, that legit looks like Amy Jo Johnson. Like her mannerisms, everything. I was like, is this her daughter? Like playing her, because she killed it. She was the best character that stuck to their role, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That just absolutely killed it.
Naomi Scott as Kimberly was like Amy Jo Johnson if she were a badass. That's really what it was.
Yeah, and then you have the two voice actors in Bryan Cranston and Bill Hader. And Alpha 5 has never been really taken. He's always been this like comedic relief of a character, and he's just a good laugh. And to have to have a comedic mind in Bill Hader voice him, that's just amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tyler. I'm sorry.
And like Tim said with Zordon, he's more than just a floating head. And you can't ask anybody better than Heisenberg or Hal from Malcolm in the Middle himself than Bryan Cranston. You can't ask for anybody better than Bryan Cranston to give a character and to give depth to just a head in the wall. Like, the casting of this movie was just
spot on. Spot freaking on.
Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. Can't wait for the sequel. If I had one complaint, I'm going to disagree with both of you. If I had one complaint, the things as a kid that you get that you push your hand in and it makes the image,
yes, and Cranston's head.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. if I was the critic, one thing I feel like they could have done that a little bit different, because the more I think about it, I think of every time pushing that thing in and your handprint or your face being in there. If I was to have any critic, that would be one thing. And that annoyed me more than the suits or anything else ever could have done.
And now,
but yeah, you're right.
One last thing, I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
is an open
we're moving on
challenge
after
to the
this.
studio. Whoever produced Power Rangers, this is an open challenge to you. I challenge you, studios of Power Rangers, to give me either an equal to or greater than JDF for Tommy Oliver. It's going to be near impossible to do, but with the rest of the cast that you have for this movie, I need you to own up. I need you to ante up. I need you to do this for me.
Well, it's
I'm
going
with
to
you
be
there.
hard. It's
Very
going to be hard.
It's
gonna
not
be
going
hard.
to be easy, but
All right, so let's get into the last segment of the night. We're trying to cut this a little bit shorter. This is my segment. This is me. This is my segment. This is what I live for. The Walking Dead, baby. We get the Walking Dead season finale this past Sunday night, and all the haters, all the critics who were like, oh, this season's just been so slow. Oh, this season's just been bad. Oh, there's too much violence. You can all suck it. You know why? Because we get all out war. And we had a tiger pounce on somebody right before Carl was going to be Lucille. This episode, is it October yet? Like, I cannot wait for season 8. I was going bat crap crazy. I don't care if Tommy and Tim don't keep up with it as much as I do, but I was losing my crap, man. When Carl was fixing to get walloped, and the tiger, I was wondering how they were going to incorporate the tiger. He comes in and just waylays somebody. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Love Sasha. Rest in peace, Sasha. I'm sorry. Spoilers are abound in this. If you haven't seen it, get over it. Oh, well. I love Sasha. I love her. The actresses. I don't want to mess up her name, but she played a phenomenal role. She's actually going to be starting the new Star Trek series. So, Tim, if you pick up the Star Trek series, you'll get a former Walking Dead cast in that, and she is great. She's a great actress. I hated to see her go. But, yeah, the finale was absolutely awesome. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is Negan. Holy cow. I was telling Rachel, because she loves the show too. Like, I hate to love this guy's character. He's so stinking charismatic. Like, he is absolutely, like, people after episode 1, they were like, oh, Glenn, I'm just going to forget it. What? Tim, you're right to speak up.
Zachary Montgomery played Jason, not Zac Efron. I wanted to throw that in there as a disclaimer.
There's the Power Rangers reference.
It's Zac Efron.
So we don't get.
Shut up.
It's not Zac Efron. Keep going, Kevin.
But anyway, the season finale was absolutely awesome. And I think for the page, for Opinionated Geeks, we're going to kind of, we're going to kind of talk about the season, how season 7, maybe some of my first, or my best episodes that I enjoyed the most, some of the weaker episodes, maybe even over the summer if we have some time, or if I have some time, just kind of recap the series. Because if you haven't watched the series as a whole, here's one thing that I urge people to do. Don't just binge watch an entire series in like 3 or 4 days. Because in my opinion, and Tim and Tommy may disagree, you can't appreciate the characters because you're just rushing through an entire series. So, if you're to take this summer and you want to watch a show like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, whatever it is, don't rush through the series. I'm going through Parks and Rec right now, and I've stopped myself and given like a couple of days to process things. Because even with a sitcom like that, it still has a story arc. It's not just whatever. They don't just throw it in. With these things like story arcs and stuff, give yourself some time to process, to care about the characters. Because one thing about The Walking Dead is character driven. Game of Thrones is character driven. and if you just rush through it, you won't care about the characters. And I think that's what a lot of people have done with season 7, is they kind of picked up whenever Walking Dead got really popular around season 2, 3, 4. Really about 4, I think, is whenever it really, really took off. And I think people kind of picked up on that about season 4. And now some of the minor characters that are turning into major characters, like Rosita, Eugene, some of these characters, they just aren't invested in them. Mm-hmm. So I'll say if you go through the summer and you want to watch a show, take some time and really sit back and enjoy the episode. Whatever it is, if you're watching any series.
Well, speaking of which, we're talking about, you mentioned Game of Thrones. I'm finally starting to finish up season 6. Hope to get done with that by this weekend. And who is ready for July 16th, people? Who is ready for July 16th? This guy, Game of Thrones season 7. It's the next to last. This is supposed to be the next to last season. So after this one, we got one more, and then the TV series is supposed to end, barring, that's pretty much all George R. R. Martin has written. So I just want to throw that out there. You mentioned Game of Thrones, so it just got me all excited and stuff.
Yeah, fun fact about Game of Thrones, that they actually split the series on purpose. I think to make more money. I think that's what it is, to make more money.
Keep us in suspense.
Yeah, I think that, but also the Game of Thrones was supposed to premiere in like late April or May, but the winter was actually later apparently, and they had to film all of this because the last 2 seasons are going to, spoiler alert, winter is here. Okay,
winter is here. It's not coming anymore, people. Winter's not coming anymore.
Yeah, winter is here. Okay, so they had to perform all of this stuff in the worst part of winter, so they had to delay the season because they filmed in Iceland or Greenland. They filmed in Greenland. So just a little fun fact there. My guy's gonna die. There's no hopes in dreams. I don't follow Game of Thrones as much as y'all do. I watch it every now and then. I think sometimes, for me, just personally, it's a little too violent, a little too much for me sometimes. But I do follow the show. But anyway, yeah, Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Tommy, what are you watching?
I'm not. I have no big shows. I'm on Netflix. I'm watching that 70s show right now. But my big series with the major plot line that I'm waiting for is Orange is the New Black. Season 5 drops June 9th, I believe. And the end of the 4th season messed me up, and I wanted to cry, but I didn't because I'm a man. Don't cry.
You ain't no man. You a boy.
But it hurt, and I'm so excited for season 5. I cannot wait. June 9th is marked on my mental calendar and my physical calendar.
You and the wife should talk sometime. She's a huge Orange is the New Black fan.
She is my mom.
Yes, yes. You and your mother.
See, y'all don't have as old a wait as me. I have till October until I have to wait. Y'all are like June and July. I've got to wait.
Well, I've been waiting. I've been waiting since freaking, October of last year.
Yeah, I think October last year was whenever they finished up Orange is the New Black. So, yeah.
That's when I finished it up. I don't think it's when they did, but it's when I did.
When was the last episode of Orange is the New Black?
You're asking Lauren?
Yeah, I'm asking Lauren. When was the last episode of OITV? Orange is the New Black? When was the last episode?
OITV, you forgot a letter.
Okay, yeah, okay. It was so... Okay, so it finished up last June. And... Yeah, new season starts this June.
I finished it in like October. Anyway, We're off topic.
Anyway, all right, so that's all we have today. We're going to end the segments. Just to give you what we might be talking about next week, there's a lot of trailers coming out. I think we all need to discuss some trailers coming out. We had Justice League, The Amazing Spider-Man, or Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm sorry. Spider-Man Homecoming, Pirates of the Caribbean,
Deadpool 2,
Deadpool 2, tons of stuff. I mean, I think Alien, was it the Alien trailer coming out?
When's Wonder Woman coming out?
I don't know. I can't remember when Wonder Woman was coming out. Like, there's just a ton of stuff, ton of
It's going to be a
trailers.
good year for movies.
Yeah, this summer is going to be loaded.
I'm going to have
Thor,
no money.
Ragnarok.
Oh.
Like, there's so much coming out, man. So we'll probably talk some of that, talk some wrestling. But I think this week we're really going to probably talk about some trailers. Also, I think by next week, let me see. Let me check my calendar. Next week, I will probably be on the verge of talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale game. I pre-ordered that. And I got a free theme with that, and it is so awesome. There's like a cassette player floating. It floats through, like, where the games are, because I have a PS4, and it floats through the games. Like, it is so awesome. But, yeah, so some really cool stuff. And I know, Tommy, you've been playing a lot of games. I think we haven't really talked about games a lot, but we're all into Minecraft. We're all into NBA 2K.
I've recently gotten into Horizon Zero Dawn. We all played Destiny. Yeah. With Destiny 2, the trailer that dropped, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, and also,
there's so much.
We'll also be on the lookout for, each of us are starting to do solo unboxings.
I didn't realize you were still doing a podcast.
And hi, Tommy's mom.
Caddy.
Oh, back to what I was saying. We're all doing solo unboxings. Last week, a couple of days ago, I got a Geek Fuel. Tommy's got a Loot Crate coming. Kevin, you just subscribed to Munch Pack, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, and Lauren got me a Slam Crate coming up as a WWE themed Loot Crate, and I think she's got me the April Geek Fuel as well. So I'll be doing all of those as a solo vid as well. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up, not just on this episode. It's going to be great. I love what we got planned.
It's going to be a fun next few weeks and the next few months. It's going to be fun overall. I'm very excited for the future of OG and being able to sit down and actually talk with you guys, two of my closest friends who are geeks and losers and idiots, but I love you. And I'm excited for the future and, what all we have in store. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely will be. I don't know. I just want to call this out, and then we're going to end. A lot of stuff going on with YouTube right now. I don't know. I know I shared it to the guys. I know, and we're a really small page, but one of the big things is people pulling ads and stuff like that. I know I talked to Tommy and Tim a little bit about this today. Go support other people's channels. I want to just throw that out there, especially smaller channels. I follow several smaller channels that are really good quality content, and with the stuff that got pulled, the ads, that was a lot of revenue. And honestly, some of these guys that I follow, that's almost their primary source of income. So if you like and comment and subscribe to us, go like and comment and subscribe to other people too. Twine Ambassador. Kaylin's Media. I'm not as active as some of these other guys, but guys like Dan Q8000.
Markiplier. I like him a lot.
Yeah, there's a ton of guys that Make a Path presents. If you like Walking Dead stuff and whatnot, that guy's awesome. Just really, there's a lot of quality guys, and this whole ad stuff is really going to hurt them, I think. But just go out and support your YouTube people. Don't let stupid people ruin YouTube. Don't let stupid people ruin Geeks. Okay.
Hashtag.
So anyway,
hashtag people.
Yeah, hashtag it, man. Get the content out.
Hashtag keep stupid people away.
Yeah. We are united. So anyway, you guys have a great night. This is Kevin Lindsay. That's Tommy Holiday.
Tim Brownlee.
Tommy.
Timmy B.
Oh, I'm Tommy. I'm Tommy.
And Timmy B. Peace out, guys.
We are the real OGs. We are the real OGs, and we are signing off. Dab.